Researchers are teaming up with Oklahoma cattle producers on an important animal health initiative. Sunup host Lyndall Stout has all the details.
This tiny creature is prompting fear and concern for Oklahoma cattle producers. Unlike a scary movie, the Asian longhorn tick is all too real.
In terms of size, we're looking at a pest that's extremely small. A lot of Oklahomans might be familiar with seed ticks or the Lone Star ticks that we see in the spring, those larvae and nymphal Lone Star ticks. An adult Asian longhorn tick is about the same size as a nymphal Lone Star tick. So we're looking 3 to 5 millimeters kind of across in length.
Dr. Jonathan Kamak is the Extension Livestock Entomologist at Oklahoma State University.
In the area behind me here where we have all this leaf litter piled up, this is kind of a perfect area for where we could expect to find them. So right now the nymphs are overwintering, so they've been hunkered down since October, November, just trying to survive through the winter. And so we're going to start to see them come out and be active as they start to look for hosts during the spring.
The invasive species has been making its way westward across the United States for 15 years, and in 2024 crossed into northeastern Oklahoma.
So last summer they were found on animals in Craig County and Mays County, and so this spring and as we move into summer, kind of the areas that are most likely to have Asian longhorn ticks are going to be those counties in the northeast corner of the state. There are a lot of potential problems and hazards associated with this tick, particularly from the livestock side. So they are a vector of a pathogen that is impossible to deal with in cattle. Basically, there's not a vaccine or a treatment for this particular pathogen that they're a vector of. So if the pathogen does show up in Oklahoma, then we've already got the vector here, at least in the northeast part of the state. So if we end up with both of them in the same place at the same time, that could be pretty bad. Symptom-wise, it's going to be very similar to anaplasmosis, with the exception of calves being infected with Theileria, as opposed to calves not being able to be infected by anaplasmosis. And if you suspect anaplasmosis, but the animals aren't responding to an antibiotic treatment, then it's probably going to be Theileria, because antibiotics won't work against this pathogen.
Dr. Kamak says there's a need for research and to collaborate with scientists in neighboring states. That's where Dr. Roslyn Biggs comes in, leading a study funded by Oklahoma State's College of Veterinary Medicine.
We see small animal and large animal patients. Large animal hospital portion of the hospital is just kind of over our shoulder.
Okay, so inside you and the team are working on a new research project that really is geared toward Oklahoma cattle producers?
Absolutely. We have an ongoing project to evaluate the Asian longhorn tick and the agent that it has the potential to carry, Theileria orientalis genotype Ikeda. We did have an identification of this particular tick in northeast Oklahoma in 2024, and so we want to do additional surveillance to understand more about this tick, the agent that it can carry, or at least one of them, Theileria orientalis Ikeda, and understand how we can help producers moving forward as we see this tick move its way west across the United States.
As part of this, you're reaching out to Oklahoma producers who may want to participate. How does that work?
Absolutely. We're looking for 20 to 30 farm to ranches that want to participate and that have about 20 head or so at least in their operation. Also working with their veterinarians in conjunction as well. And so with that, we're going to offer blood testing. All the supplies, all the shipping, all of that is free. Submit blood to our Oklahoma Animal Disease Diagnostic Laboratory for Theileria evaluation. Additionally, we'll be looking at testing for anaplasmosis too on those samples, and then also offering tick identification in those herds.
Why is it important to work directly with producers on this?
We have a goal here at VetMed and then across Extension as well to assist producers in a collaborative way. And so we are very interested, this is an internally funded project to work with producers, try to get ahead of this particular tick and the agents that it can carry, as well as look how we can potentially look at preventative measures as we cooperate with our friends in entomology too.
And you're really looking at it here, you and the team, from the animal health perspective, but you will also be collaborating with some other partners in OSU agriculture.
Absolutely. Once we get the results of this test, we're looking for that collaboration as we look with our partners at the Ferguson College of Agriculture, with our partners in Extension, and of course with Oklahoma cattle industry, to make sure that we have an approach with animal health in mind, but also the environmental impacts, et cetera, to be able to address this emerging disease.
We've seen the map of the Asian longhorn tick in the southeastern United States moving west. I'm sure our neighboring states are also keeping an eye on this too, and you may work with them as well.
Absolutely. In addition to our Oklahoma producers that may want to participate, we certainly encourage our neighboring states, specifically to the east, northeast areas in that region where we've already seen that tick. If those producers are interested in potentially sampling their herds, we're happy to work with them as well.
You mentioned blood work and tick identification. Give me a little more information on that.
Absolutely. Dr. Skymika, our veterinary parasitologist here at VetMed, is leading that effort of the testing at the diagnostic laboratory. And so we'll be testing for Theileria specifically, as well as testing for anaplasmosis, and then doing tick identification of the species that are potentially submitted. And we are encouraging producers, particularly as we get into anaplas season of the year, if they suspect anaplas, they're seeing those kind of clinical signs, consider participating in this study, because we want to make sure that we're not missing Theileria that can be carried by the Asian longhorn tick. And specifically, if they're treating for anaplas and not seeing results, it's probably a good idea to go ahead. And this testing is free, shipping is free, and we will provide results directly to the producer and their veterinarian.
If you or someone you know is interested in taking part in the Asian longhorn tick study, you have to fill out the research interest form. Find a link to it on our website at sunup.okstate.edu. At Oklahoma State University, I'm Lyndall Stout.